Well, being part of the Pot County Historical Society, my friend and I, Johnny, had heard that the bear was probably going to go out of town or out of state, and so we met with Wilson Baptist, and we stated our case for Shawnee, and he decided to leave it here in Shawnee, and we're going to move it to the Santa Fe depot. Well, I've been in Shawnee since 1953, and I was here when the bear came to town, and every trip to town we got to go see the bear, and I've watched him through the years, you know, turn as gray as I have, and it's pretty special, that bear, to this city. You just don't realize until you start talking to people how close that bear is to their hearts in this town. Wilson Baptist III shot the bear. He was stationed in Alaska during his term in the Air Force, and him and his father being quite the hunters and big game hunters, that was their dream to get a big brown Alaskan bear, and by golly, he got one. At the time, people had only seen bears like that probably in an occasional TV show, and with the shortage of TVs back in the 60s, not every home had one, and they heard that the bear was coming to Shawnee. That was big entertainment. So they all came to town and watched him uncrated on Main Street and took inside the building, and it was quite a spectacle. Well, what we have over here is what we call the Sparkman building. It was donated by Mr. Sparkman. He owned the glass company, but the origin of this building go further back. It's the old Ford tractor dealership that was here in town, and it's been here for quite a while, but it was donated to the Santa Fe Depot Museum as a storage facility, and we store a lot of stuff in there, and with the vegetation and the trees and the brush and stuff that had grown up around that building, we couldn't secure it because people could climb up the trees and knock a hole in the roof and go through. So what Johnny Kneisel and I decided to do was look for some bids to maybe get those trees removed, and every bid was way out of our budget. We didn't have that big of a budget, so I went on the computer and started looking for machinery to help us remove those trees, and I found a machine that I could rent for $863 a day, and I didn't have it, and Johnny, he don't have it, and we knew the depot didn't have it, so I just put out a plea on Facebook and started a Facebook page called Shawnee Proud, Pot County Strong, and we went from 0 to 60 in a couple of days. We had the money we needed, and I rented the machine, and we started cleaning from there. Human waste, the filth, the drug paraphernalia, the paint cans, the Listerine bottles, you know, things like that our children shouldn't happen to accidentally stumble upon and get hold of. It shouldn't be there. Not this close to Main Street. Well, we found the wall quite by accident, by just walking around looking for a place to probably put a walking trail. That's one of our desires, along with the city, is to help them in their quest to get a walking trail for the citizens of Shawnee. And we just stumbled upon this just half a block north of Highland Street on the railroad tracks, and there was very unsavory conditions there. Wet mattresses, paint cans, drug paraphernalia, needles, bottles that they make their shake and bake methamphetamines out of was everywhere. And We estimated that just from the rust of some of those cans that they'd probably been going on for probably 30, 40 years down in that area, and nobody knew it. So we cleaned it up, and we got some help from the Oklahoma Baptist University volunteers. We had the Southern Methodist University volunteers come up, as well as Georgia Tech. They came all the way out here and helped us clean that wall area up. We've cleaned probably 30 to 50 different size camps out along the tracks and in the brush, in the parks. We actually cleaned them up in the parks and in the alleyways. They were everywhere. Just within feet of Main Street. These are people here. They're not homeless. These people here refuse to live by the rules of society. They were camped out and up against the back wall here of the depot. They didn't want to move. They said that was their place and they're staying. So it's real close. You know, we didn't want the kids coming down here to see the depot and having to walk over these guys just to enjoy the museum. Johnny and I, since the tornado hit, Johnny and I, we've helped over 250 families. You know, that we know they were homeless because they didn't have a home. And what we face in Shawnee is identifying what is homeless and what is not homeless. We have wore that word homeless out. We use it for so many fit-all situations, and it's not. We have people living out here just they think it's a romantic type of life, living out in the wild. We have guys that they don't want to live by society's rules. They don't want to pay bills, they don't want to work. You can't compare those that lost their homes due to hardship. You can't compare those that lost their home due to a natural occurrence with what we have found down here in the woods close to Main Street. There's just no way you can compare it. What we want to do is help those that need help and identify those that you just can't help. They just don't want to live by rules of society. You know, we've not only cleaned here at the depot, we've cleaned down Main Street. All of the alleys have been cleaned out. We've cleaned all the parks, trimmed the trees up. We found that they are not quite as many panhandlers on the streets. You can actually drive up to the depot and go in without them being there asking you for money. You can walk up Main Street without them bothering you. You can go to the library, nobody's bothering you there. It's a pretty good indication that if you clean it up and you get some activity, those folks will move on. In the past 2 months, the foot traffic in downtown Shawnee is just wonderful. People coming down here and taking pictures and having a good time like they should.